Good morning, Bradley here. I had to time that opening. Before I start today's video, I believe in karma. It's kind of funny, I was reading a story on the internet about this guy, young guy. I'm not sure where he was from, but a few weeks before all this virus stuff became big, he hit a bunch of Dollar General stores, etc., and bought out the entire supply of hand sanitizers at these stores. So he had like a U-Haul full of hand sanitizers. And so he put them on eBay and Amazon at 10 times the price to make a quick buck. Well, those companies canceled his account, and now he's stuck with all this hand sanitizer. Now, his explanation was that he wanted to provide a better life for his kids, you know, with this money. Did he not realize that if other people don't have access to hand sanitizers, it's not going to help his kids. They're going to give him the virus. I don't know. You can't fix stupid. Anyhow. This video, it'd be like a compilation of some of my big band jazz albums I have. I don't have a huge amount, but it's growing. So I'll just go over these kind of quickly. I don't want to make it too long. The first album, 1952, it is on Columbia. I wanted some Duke Ellington, which I have a couple, but this is Ellington Uptown on Columbia. Like I said, 1952. And it is on the cool blue Columbia Masterworks label. A precursor of all the 6i and all that stuff. This is what you would expect from 1952 big band jazz. Swinging stuff. But I was kind of struck by the talent of these musicians in this band when they do their solos and all this. It's like these guys were really good. And of course Duke had his pick, I'm sure, of all the good musicians. Okay, next album, 1954. This was the first album by Michel Legrand and his orchestra. It's called I Love Paris. I love that cover photograph. This is on Philips, and it is a Dutch pressing. It's got some old-fashioned tip-on. Now this is very flimsy, kind of like some of them Russian and European old pressings, but it's really glossy. And I will show the label because it's kind of cool. It's called Philips Mini Groove. Philips Mini Groove. Which, if you can see, it's a very small pressing mini groove. This album, like I said, it's called I Love Paris. Probably, I don't know, 15 songs on here, and just about every one of them has Paris in the title. So this is what you would expect from a 1954 big band orchestra from Paris. You know, you could imagine yourself at a sidewalk cafe. A lot of accordion, strings. It would be called easy listening, you know. But it's kind of cool. So since you can't fly to France now, you could put this album on, close your eyes, and lean back in your easy chair and imagine you were over in Paris. Okay, this next album, I've shown it quite a few times. It was probably maybe the 4th Tone Poet release last year. Big band, Gil Evans, New Bottle, Old Wine. I'm not a big, and this features Cannonball Adderley, who plays wonderfully on this. I'm not a big Gil Evans fan, but this album I do love. It's beautiful. It's the great jazz composers interpreted by Gil Evans and his orchestra. So very mellow but full. It's great for having a bottle of wine. A new bottle, but of old wine, I guess. I put this on sometimes before I go to bed. Very relaxing. Okay, the next album, also 1958, is when it was recorded. It's on RCA Victor in living stereo. Henry Mancini does the music from Peter Gunn. It's got the famous Peter Gunn theme song on here. I love Peter Gunn. I love that old TV show. And I love the music. So, and it is on the RCA Victor label with Nipper there. This is not an original pressing, but it's from the first year. I picked this up cheap from a guy who was selling some records, and he just had complete junk. And so I decided to buy one record and walk out of his house, you know. I assumed it would sound like crap, but I cleaned it up and it's pretty spotless and it sounds fantastic. So I am a fan of living stereo records right now. Okay, this next album, 1963, Jimmy Smith, Any Number Can Win. Now this is on Verve. Actually, this is a promotional copy, although it has the regular black Verve label on it. Jimmy is Jag. This is Big Band with Jimmy at the organ. It does have Kenny Burrell on here also, playing guitar. Good stuff. Jimmy made a ton of records for Blue Note during the mid to late 50s, early 60s. So when he moved to Verve, I think maybe one of the reasons was he wanted to perform with a big band, a larger band. So he made some big band albums, and on some of them I know Oliver Nelson was the arranger, but he was not on that particular album. And speaking of Oliver Nelson, from 1966, an album called Sound Pieces. It's on Impulse, on that beautiful laminate Impulse. Front cover, same as the back cover, because side B has the quartet. Side A is big band music. I picked this up at Wooden Nickel Records in Fort Wayne a couple years ago. for a really good price. I did not know that much about it, but it was on Impulse. So if I see an Impulse album for a reasonable amount of money, I will pick it up. Okay, just a couple more albums here, and these are by the same artist, a current modern-day jazz artist, bass player, in my opinion, the best bass player out there, Christian McBride. Now, I believe he did 2 big band albums, which these are the 2 right here that I will show. And I do love his covers. Has really nice artwork. This was in 2012 release, called The Good Feeling. It's double LP, probably 60 plus minutes of music on here. Now on both of these albums, there are probably maybe 3 songs on each album that has a female jazz vocalist, which is Melissa Walker, and that is Christian's wife. Personally, I would prefer to have just the big band music with no vocals, but she's really good, you know, kind of like a mid-range vocal. But so this was the first one, The Good Feeling, Christian McBride. Fantastic album in my opinion. Now in 2017, and these are on Mack Avenue Records label, which is based in Detroit. 2017, Christian McBride Big Band, Bringing It. And once again, I love the cover art on that. So when we talk about big bands, you're probably talking maybe 14 or 15 musicians, usually. Usually that's the way it works out. This one is very comparable to the other Christian McBride Big Band album, which is to say, I love them both. These 2 big band albums are right up there with my favorites of all the big band stuff. Fairly upbeat. They of course have a couple ballads, and Melissa Walker will have her songs on here. But some of these songs, just kind of imagine if Art Blakey would have played with a large band, a big band. So, you know, you got really good solos, and so anyhow, Christian McBride, I like him. So I think that's all I have to say today. I'll have to venture out, unfortunately, I think, to the grocery store this afternoon, and who knows what will be there. I don't know. So anyhow, till the next time, everybody, take care. Just, if you can, hunker down, you know, and enjoy that time alone or with your family. So I'll see you folks later.